Keeping faces consistent is probably the biggest challenge when creating images or videos with AI. Today, I'll show you how to get 100% face consistency. We are going to use the Qwen image edit model. Let's get started. I have a headshot of a woman here. The Qwen edit model is great for all sorts of editing. We could try to make a new portrait of her, but if you use a basic setup, the face won't stay perfectly consistent. The new face might not look exactly like the original. Maybe the expression changes, or the angle of her head is different. But I'm using a special LoRA that helps fix this. With it, we can get 100% consistency. Let's look at the final picture. I'll put the original right next to it so we can compare. See, the two faces are identical. Check out all the small details. They look incredibly realistic. You can also use multiple images for editing tasks. Let me show you another example. Here I've loaded two pictures. One is a close-up of a woman's face. The second is a full portrait of another woman in a specific dress and pose. My goal is to put the first woman's face onto the second woman's body. I want her wearing that same dress, in that same pose, but in a new background that I'll describe in the prompt. Okay, let's look at the final result. Let's compare it to the original face and the original dress. The consistency is amazing, isn't it? The face angle perfectly matches the original portrait. Okay, so now I'll explain how this workflow is built. After this one, I'll also go back and explain the simpler one headshot workflow later. Before I start, I should mention I'm building this on Running Hub. I like it because it already has all the models and custom nodes pre-installed. If you want to use my workflows without the headache of installing everything yourself, check out the links in the description. First, let's talk about the models. The Qwen edit model can work with many different lighting LoRAs. For this, I chose an 8-step version. If you want things to generate even faster, you could use a 4-step LoRA instead. Okay, let's look at the reference images. The first image is just a face close-up. It doesn't show her hair. You could also use a regular headshot like this one. And the final image would look like this. The second reference image is the woman in the dress. This one will also be a reference for the Qwen edit model. You'll notice her head area is covered by a color patch. We do this because we are going to tell the Qwen model to fill that specific area with the face from our first headshot. I also used the third image, a pose skeleton. This is mainly to help the Qwen model understand the right proportions between the head and the body. If the proportions look wrong in the result, you can try disabling the detect face option. Moving to the next group. The prompt is very important. It's split into two parts. The first part is an instruction like this. Remove the black color patch. A portrait of a woman in image 1 wearing the dress in image 2 with the pose in image 3. This part tells the Qwen model exactly how to combine the three pictures. You generally don't need to change this wording. The second part is where you describe the background. This is the part you must change to get a different scene. I'm using this special LoRA here to help with face consistency. I set its strength very low, only to 0.2. That's because we are going to fix the face even more in the next step. In the next group, we use a FaceDetailer. This node finds the face in the picture, crops it, and then improve its consistency and details. You might need to play with the LoRA strength and the FaceDetailer's denoising strength to get the perfect result. Finally, the last step is to upscale the image using ComfyUI. I explained all the settings for this in my last video about upscaling. If you want to know more, you can check that link below. Okay, now let's go back to the first workflow. Remember, this one generates a new portrait starting from a single headshot. If you want to change her hairstyle, you can just upload a tightly cropped version of the picture showing only her face. In this example, The final face angle is the same as the original headshot. But what if you don't want the original angle? You can switch this select option to 2. This tells the system to use model 1, meaning the models without the specific face consistency LoRA. Let's run it that way and see what happens. Sometimes, the background in our original headshot can match with the area around the head in the final picture. If that happens, try switching to using image 2 as a reference, the one where the background was removed. The other parts of this workflow are the same as the one we just looked at. We use the FaceDetailer to improve the face details and consistency. Then, we use SeedVR2 to upscale the final image. If you want to download these two workflows, please consider joining our community to support the channel. We can also chat directly in that community. You should also subscribe to this channel so you don't miss me breaking down more useful workflows. I'll see you in the next video.